What's up, you bunch of FPV snobs? Welcome back to my channel where we indulge in the cheap. Yeah, you bunch of FPV fanboys that love certain brands. I never buy from China. I only, build my own custom FPV rigs. This video is not for you, so just go ahead and click stop right there on that YouTube channel. We're flying something today on the cheap, and I'm talking like the kind of cheap that like a bolt falls off this thing and I have no idea where it came from. This thing is $60. It has some questionable hardware on here. It also has some components on here that I hope hold out through the rest of this flight. It seems to be in competition with Eachine. So Eachine, if you're listening, you better start making some cheap quads very soon, because these guys at Darwin FPV are kind of listening to the FPV community. A bunch of you guys said, hey man, you know what? Bind and flies are too expensive right now. I don't want to pay $300 for an analog bind and fly quad. Are you crazy? I'm feeling you, and so is Darwin FPV. But we're gonna talk about what's on this quad for that $69 price point. You gotta add your own receiver, so you're gonna be getting upwards of 80 some dollars anyway. There is a Baby Ape and a Baby Ape Pro also. The Pro gives you a little nicer camera, about 1200 TVL versus 700 TVL on this one. And 3-inch props are in the box. I have a few zip ties. I have a little Darwin FPV sticker. Thank you, Darwin FPV, for that. You can check out their website down below if you want to pick up a Baby Ape. It also has built-in LEDs, which is not bad for the $69 price point. Replaceable arms on here. They look fairly thin. They look about 2.5 millimeter. I'll let you know about that a little bit later. And these motors right here are pretty old. They are around since the age of the original Baby Hawk, and these might even be the original Baby Hawk motors. Who the hell knows? I don't care, really. I'm just gonna fly them. And it has one of the strangest camera setups in here that I've ever seen. It is a compacted little camera that is squished in between two TPU mounts that do not have bolts directly into the camera. No, they are sandwiched in between two plastic nuts. Yeah, sandwiched between two nuts. That's right, there it is. This has a pretty decent amount of tilt on here, and 4 bolts for removing the top plate. Pretty easy to find the S-Bus tab on here. They have it labeled if you want to solder up your own ESC. But 2 to 3 S battery, I'm expecting a pretty good flight out of this, as long as it does perform the way it looks. It looks cool, but does it fly cool? Who knows? It's cheap, it's $69, who cares? Here we go. All right guys, the quad's all set up. We're gonna fly it on 2 and 3S, and I just wanted you to see the LEDs that they actually do come on. Don't try this in the house. I'm gonna arm it. You can see that red in the rear, white in the front. Pretty cool. Now let's see if it actually flies.
tight, so just sit tight. When she lets her hair down, she drives me wild. As she looks in my eyes, she's in the groove now. Gonna make her mine. I've got to move now. Hell yeah.
All right, guys, welcome back to the flight test. That was a lot of fun. If you buy this quad, start out on 2S in your backyard. 2S battery was nice and controllable around the yard. It didn't have that extra bit of throttle to kind of throw me into the fence. If you're flying in a kind of a tight space like that, you kind of need to be on 2S. If you're on 3S with this quad, it is actually extremely fast on 3S, and it will probably end up having you thrown into the neighbor's yard on a power loop, or just even on a turn where you just accidentally hit the throttle. When I was flying this on 3S, I was flying literally about 30% throttle, maybe 25% throttle around the backyard. So this thing is actually pretty fast with the 1104 motors on here. So it is a Toothpick race car. And I think you can also fit a camera on the front of this. You could probably fit a Go-To up front here. You can scoot your battery back like that, plug in your XT30 back there. I also like that it does have a 200 milliwatt VTX on here, so that is pretty good penetration around the yard, even around the shed. The back side of the shed, as I came around, it was just as good as the petrol with the Zeus 350 milliwatt transmitter on there. So I think the transmitter on here is pretty decent. I also think that it's pretty cool that they include LEDs. They only turn on when you arm the quad. That's the thing. But today when we were flying, I was flying the 2S450 from Ishin. This is just basically a little freebie battery that I got. It's already a little bit swollen, but I was still able to get like 3.5 minutes to 4 minutes out of this. Just kind of making some runs around the yard and really having a ball. So I think you could fly a pretty cheap battery on these motors. I'm gonna try to look up the KV on the website. You have 40 channels on that switchable VTX. It has smart audio already set up and NTSC or PAL. The input voltage on that VTX is 7 to 24 volts, so that's pretty good. The Baby 8 Pro has a different camera as well. It has the Cadex Ant, so that's the one I would go for. And that also has TBS smart audio on the Pro version or the regular version. We have the 3016x3 props. These are the Hurricanes from GymFan. Those are tri-blade props on there, and there's no bolts on these, which I thought I might throw a prop, which I did not. That's good. There's a 1.5 millimeter shaft, and let's just double check those motors. I'm trying furiously to find it for you. We're looking at 4,300 kV motors, and those are 2 to 3S brushless motors. Again, I have seen these on previous like Emax quads from like 2 years ago. So these motors are not brand new. They are super old. And the other thing about this quad, let's get into like the cheapness of this build. I'm gonna tell you, this camera right here doesn't even have screw holes on the side of it. It is a CMOS camera, which both are the Pro and the regular version, but this has some strange TPU mount around the camera, and it sits in between these two sidewalls with a couple of little tiny plastic nuts. Yeah, in between two plastic nuts, like I said it again. But it is compressed there, and you can tilt it up and down, so you can't really get the camera any tighter than being able to move it with your fingers. So that's one thing to think about there. It's kind of strange. I would go with the Cadex Ant if I were you. You also get some extra zip ties in there, which I did secure my XM Plus in the back right there. I had plenty of room to be able to put an XM Plus back there. If you want to run ELRS, you probably can also do that. And we have a dipole antenna coming out the back right here with a TPU mount, which is kind of cool. And again, like, you know, running 200 in the backyard was absolutely fine. So if you're looking for a backyard ripper, I think the Baby Ape series is okay. I wanted to hate it, but I enjoyed flying it on 2S. And you know what? I've talked about this before on my channel. The 1104 series, actually 1103. I like 1103 on 2S. I could fly that all day long, and go home happy. It's just a fun power to weight ratio. And if this quad was a little bit lighter on 2S, that's all you would need. You don't even really need to run this 3S unless you go somewhere where you have a whole bunch of wide open space, because this quad hauls ass. So yeah, you can check this one out in the link down below on Darwin Fpv. And it looks like they have some other quads on their website on the super cheap. The pro version, by the way, is $81.99, so you're gonna get upwards of $90-some once you get a receiver on there, close to $100. They have a long range 7-inch for $139. What in the H is going on with that? Darwin Fpv, send me the 7-inch. We would like to test that right here on the channel and see how that does. I can't guarantee you I'll fly it 5 miles out, but that is one of our big things on the channel, is long range FPV. So that would be cool. They also have another one on there. It says Darwin 7.9 for $90. They also have an 18650 quad on there for $120. That's the, another 1S 18650 3-inch quad, $120. They've got a whoop on there, a 75mm whoop. And they also have a tinier 59 series, $81 toothpick here. So some cool stuff. You guys can check that out. And always subscribe on the channel for more honest reviews, guys. And check out Darwin FPV. Take care, boys. I'll see you on the next one.